Good evening, everyone. All right, today I have just a small presentation about health and specifically to do with the mind, the brain, and how it operates. Special, specifically emotional intelligence. What is emotional intelligence? I won't be able to go into scientific definition, but it's something that helps us to deal with things like improving decision making, uh, and many other wonderful things, coordinating relationships, and all these things which do not have to do with your ability to calculate mathematics, but your ability to recognize different patterns and use them into leadership and all this. There are many things that can affect your brain to be able to do these functions, one of which is nutrition. And other things that do affect the brain is drugs, addictions of any kind, and all these things, we deal with them, we see them. But today I'm here to tell you that nutrition matters when it comes to brain health. So, there's been a growth in different type of brain disease, autism, ADHD, bipolar disorders in children. It keeps rising. Now the question is, why is it keeping rising now when in the past it was not so much? That's just an example of statistics. The answer is found that people have been now getting more of different type of diet and even many different types of drugs, which is kind of affecting them. Today, the whole medical world is built in a way that you basically go, you get medication for basically anything that has to do with the brain health. However, statistics and the scientific literature is showing that these medications tend to help for a short time, especially when you start using them. However, in a long time, it does not help. It starts harming more than helping. Now, there's been a group of doctors who came together. What they wanted to do was to find out how does nutrition affect things like depression and mood and all that. And what they did is they compacted micronutrients into small capsules. And they gave it to different group of people. Some they gave them the macronutrients, and others they didn't give them the macronutrients, but they received something called the placebo type of thing. And what they noticed is that those who received the macronutrients with the help of this medication, they did well more than those others who didn't receive anything. Now, today, it's in the information age. Everyone knows about the difference between what people call junky foods and the actual food, right? Now, there's an increased association between depression and the eating of junky foods, highly refined, highly processed foods. So today I'm here to tell you that it would be wonderful if we would adhere to this scientific and information that is out there for everyone to see and just put it into practice in our lives. And also when you talk about food and optimizing the brain functionality, the question comes, how much should I eat and when? It's so easy. Breakfast, usually when it's a good breakfast, it helps the brain in many ways, which we are going to see now. And then lunch and then supper. So there are advantages of eating breakfast. There are so many, but one of them is there's more efficiency in problem solving, which is something that has to do with emotional intelligence, as we saw at the beginning. Improved memory, that also has to do with the brain. And it increases the ability to speak fluently and the ability to improve that attention. And all these things, mainly if you have a good breakfast, it does a lot of things to the body, but the organ that get most out of it is the brain. So Now, the question could be, where could you get the most nutrition? What type of food is good? So some foods are good, but they have other disadvantages, and others are also good, but also have other disadvantages. But today I want to provide to you like a diet or type of foods that you can eat with less disadvantages. Most diet are composed of milk, cheese, and chicken, and all those. They're wonderful meals. However, they do have high cholesterol, which tend to affect some other things in the body, like building up plaque in the veins, and that could end up bringing problems in the future. However, funny thing is that fruits, vegetables, grains, and nuts, they have zero cholesterol, which means it's actually good. The more you eat, there is no side effect to that. Now, there's another thing when you talk about brain health. Fish, when you eat lots of fish, it tends to help with the brain. However, there's different type of omega-3. So fish helps because it has high level of omega-3s, but we also find some omega-3s in plants. So with pollution that is going on outside there, and all the industries are basically putting all the toxins in the rivers, the water bodies, we find that the fish are accumulating chemicals like mercury and many other dangerous toxins, of which whenever we eat fish, it does affect also our health, even though we are getting the omega-3, which is good for our brain. So I'm just going to leave it here by giving some options of getting these wonderful nutrients for the brain from other sources, which is not fish. So there's flax seeds, chia seeds, walnuts, wheat germ, soybeans oil, and green soybeans. And there's so much. And I think my time is up, but we'll be sharing more about the brain health and emotion intelligence as we go. Now I have to give it back to the Brother Gento.
Thank you, Jack. As a teacher in a school, I noticed that our amount of kids that have ADHD and autism is actually increasing. And this past week, I had to meet with parents and teachers to talk about what as a school we could do to support the kids. And just about every classroom that I dealt with had at least one child that's on the spectrum of autism. And ADHD, there's so many, some of them not even being identified. And that is just more and more rampant in our school system, much less our society. And it's something that I see on a daily basis.